Hello and welcome. This is Brownie Rose Smith live in the Forbidden Library, and today we are playing more Higurashi. Before we start, I wanted to have a little recap because obviously last time, I'm not sorry for leaving you on the cliffhanger we were on last time. So Keiji's pretty sure that his friends all want to kill him. Hello Jabba Hop, hello Void, welcome. He's getting progressively more paranoid. And just to put the icing on the cake, his parents have left for overnight and now he's home alone at night. Which means that, he's home alone while he's paranoid that his friends are going to come kill him. Yay! Cue his friend Rena coming to the door, being like, oh, I brought food for you. And he's like, oh no, does that mean that she knows that I'm home alone? And he tries to bullshit his parents are there, but she already knows his parents on there. And I think in reality what happened is that when she came round this morning to get Keiji to go to school, he went in early, so she missed him. So I think his mum said then, oh, do you mind bringing round food for Keiji? I won't be around this evening, neither will his dad, and he'll just end up eating pork and something noodles. That's what I think happened. Whereas now he's just super paranoid as to how she knows that he's home alone and stuff. And she has surprisingly guessed his dinner of the pork bone noodles. So, yes. If you finish chapter 1, does that count as... I think it does. This is the 10th stream of Higurashi, so this means I would have played about 20 hours just to get through this. That is less... I spend less time on actual books, so yeah, this definitely counts. According to what I know of the anime, though, I think we are nearing the end of chapter 1, and I will probably take a break between them. If anyone watches this and knows about Higurashi, I might ask this in the Discord after as well, do the other chapters have the same amount of fluff at the start as this one? Because I know this one was trying to lull people into a false sense of security, because at the time when it came out, slice of life visual novels were the thing at the time. So it was trying to go, oh, it's just another slice of life visual novel. Nothing scary going on here. No one's gonna murder you. Kind of thing. But I'm wondering, because obviously the curtain's been pulled back, so to speak, by the end of this game. By the end of this chapter, that maybe they don't spend as much time on that. And I really hope they don't, because that's been the biggest slog of this so far, is that bit at the start. You sure you aren't going to take a permanent Higurashi break? That depends on the answer to my question, to be honest. I've got a lot I want to play, is the thing, Void. And I only have very limited stream time. I would love to play the other Higurashis as well. But I have to take into account what other games I want to play, and also what's good for the channel. Higurashi as a series hasn't done that well, let's face it. I'm still having fun, and I still want to get to the end of it. That's why we're still playing it regardless. But I have to make executive decisions on that, because I would like to play Remnant. I would also like generally a bit more time to be able to do some other kinds of streams, not just gaming streams, but I have we did get rid of BioShock yesterday, but we still have 5 other games I'm playing currently. So yeah, I will be taking a break just to clear off my schedule a little bit. And you never know, it might come back, it might not. It depends, like I said, on the answer to the question of how much fluff is at the start of each chapter. Because I'd like to see the rest. There's some bits in the anime that I'm not 100% I really understood what was going on, and I really hope that the visual novels will help clear it up for me. That's the words. Briny is still a slice of life. I mean, Rena has a cleaver. I don't think she has a cleaver in this chapter. In fact, I don't think she gets the cleaver until, the 3rd chapter or anything. I don't think she has one at all in this one. Which is just sad, because Rena should always have her cleaver. It's very important to her. Anyway, so I stopped the stream exactly after she guessed the pork, bone, and ginger noodles that Keiji will be eating, and he was shocked. Shocked that she knew. Let's continue to read. Yes, load, please. I wonder how I appeared in the moments my mind went completely blank, until the moment I was able to recover. As my field of view began to distort, slowly swirling in a counterclockwise direction, I lost all sense of balance. Oh, he wasn't Bioshocked, that's for sure. Bioshocked will definitely be worse. Hello, Zoe, welcome. Why do you know that? I didn't even deny it. That was the type of frenzied state I was in. How could Rena even know this? Not even caring that I mashed my head against the door, I fixed my gaze on Rena. But she didn't even flinch when she saw me do that. I certainly did buy them. I brought a bunch at once. I brought a whole case. How could you know that? Why, I wonder. Quite strange, isn't it? Your mum told me, bitch, this morning. Isn't it? How could you dodge the question at a time like this? The chain and the door suddenly were no longer protecting me. How did you know? Why do you know? Answer me! You brought them a 7th, Ma. Didn't you? A shiver ran up my spine. And you know how she knows that? She knows that because there's barely any bloody supermarkets around anyway, so she has like 3 guesses. I tried covering it up with an angry facade. Like I said, how would you know that? I was behind you, following you, the whole time. What are you saying? I couldn't understand why she was saying she'd followed me all this time. That's because Rena was right behind Keiji-kun's back the whole time. Like that night. That night I was absorbed in my phone conversation with Oshi-san and didn't sense her being there, standing behind the door, behind me, standing there, just like that. When Keiji was picking out the noodles, I was watching the entire time. You picked out so many different flavors, didn't you? Then your mom got angry. If you were going to pick expensive ones, then you should just pick one type, she said. Then Keiji-kun picked out that big box of pork bone and ginger flavor that he loves so much, didn't he? I like it too. Pork bone noodles. But I can never eat a whole big bowl by myself. My brain was paralyzed, dulling my senses. It might have been a defense mechanism to diminish the fear I was feeling to non-traumatizing levels. Wonderful! I'm glad I'm doing well. I'm glad I'm getting the vibes right. With the fear being diminished, the fog enveloped my mind. The fog enveloping my mind was cleared away. Then I could understand what Rena was saying, and starting to put meaning behind her words. Even so, my fear hadn't subsided completely. It was like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, eyes closed so I didn't have to look down. It didn't actually solve any of the basic problems. I slowly took a step backwards, and as I withdrew, Rena advanced. So, Keiji-kun, can you open this? We can eat dinner together. I'm sure it's going to be delicious. So, okay? Rena's pale, slender fingers squirmed through the crack in the door. One at a time, they had a mind of their own, rattling the chain. If she had unlatched the chain from the door, a feeling of terror would have just exploded within me. But Rena didn't do that. She was simply imploring me to remove the chain. I tried my hardest to light the fuse to the powder keg in my heart, trying again and again. Clatter, clatter. But it doesn't light. It doesn't light! Open up, Keiji-kun. Please go away. I beg you, please go away. How can you say something so mean? I wonder. Please go away. Please go away. Go away! The powder keg inside me finally went off. The smoldering just exploded. I tackled the door. The force through the door had knocked Rena momentarily off balance. I couldn't hesitate here. I grabbed onto the doorknob with both hands, planted my feet firmly, and pulled it with all my might. But that slamming sound I so desired didn't happen. I could feel a tiny, disturbing bit of resistance keeping the door from closing. The source of that was Rena's fingers. Each of those fingers wriggling and squirming around like tendrils of a carnivorous plant through the crack in the doorway. It hurts! It hurts, Keiji-kun! It hurts! Oh! It was a harsh shriek. It wasn't a harsh shriek, but more of a yelp she was trying to keep back. Go away, go away, go away! I kept on pulling the door with all my might. I didn't even realise that if I didn't loosen the door, at least momentarily, Rena wouldn't be able to pull her fingers out. And that was why the door wasn't closing. It really hurts, Keiji-kun! I'm sorry if I was messing around too much. Oh. I didn't care one bit for her apology. No matter how much she apologised, it didn't change any of what she had done up until now. It didn't change anything. I mean, she was just trying to feed him. She just told him the story to fuck with him and didn't realise how bad he was. It hurts, I'm sorry. Go away! Rena couldn't leave if she wanted to because I'd trapped her fingers. Rena's white fingers had become a deep red and were no longer even squirming. Oh, this is awful. I'm sorry. Go away. I'm sorry. Rena's apologies were occasionally twisted with pain, but like a broken record, she was intent on repeating it over and over. Go away, go away, go away, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it! I pulled on the door even harder. Finally, Rena's fingers were somehow able to slip out from their imprisonment in the doorway. The moment that happened, the door closed soundly, and I could hear the thud of Rena falling on her butt on the other side. I locked the door immediately. It made a loud clunk, voicing my rejection to Rena. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Katie-kun! I'm sorry! Open up! Katie-kun! Rena leaned against the door, apologizing profusely and nothing else. After confirming that I was sufficiently sealed off from her, I trudged away from the entranceway. On the other side, I could still hear Rena echoing her apology. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Those pitiful words. They would forever be seeking forgiveness. I didn't feel bad about this at all. But that wasn't out of any sort of malice. I felt a sort of hazy sense of relief that I was able to escape from Rena. Before, Mion had threatened me at this doorway, saying there was nothing she didn't know. And just now, at the same place, Rena told me the same thing. My feeble attempts to disguise the fact my parents weren't home had served no purpose from the start. I should have just pretended to be out and not even opened the door. My meager plans hadn't helped at all. In Hinamizawa, it was impossible to outwit them. Even though I was on the other side of the door, I wanted to get as far away from Rena as possible. 1 step, 2 steps. With each one, her snivelling apologies became more distant. I sprinted up the stairs and dove into my room. As you would expect, I was finally no longer able to hear Rena repeating her endless apologies. Diving into my bed, I was startled by a hard lump I felt. There was something in my bed? It was the receiver. I finally remembered. I was in the middle of a call with Oshi-san. Oh god, you probably heard the yelling from downstairs. Excuse me while I glitch and drink tea. Tea drank. Looking at the clock, apparently not much time had passed since I went downstairs. Rena was the one with her psychotic face in the door, yes. Could it be that my clock had run out of batteries? Can I model flip upside down? No, I don't think I can. Actually, there might be a way. I might have to do it in OBS though. Nope, that's the wrong one. Does that count? That's not what you were hoping for, I'm guessing. Hi, Trevor. Welcome. You just missed some trauma, so good timing, really. Could it be that my clock had run out of batteries? I had talked to Rena for so long. How did almost no time pass? But the hand on the clock was ticking forward 1 second, every second, as usual. As I put the still warm receiver to my ear, time, which felt frozen, began moving once again. Hello? Oshi-san? That's not what I was hoping for. Also, I didn't know the model was cut like that. It's not cut like that. It's more that that's the window of VTube Studio. That's the limit of VTube Studio. So I'd have to, like, if you wanted a model flip like you wanted, I'd have to, like, flip. I'd have to flip this, and then I'd have to do some shenanigans here. Over here. There we go. That's the kind of model flip you were wanting, right? Feet. I'm a foot VTuber now. But now, yeah, we're not doing that. I need to flip myself back now. Where are we going? Yay! Let's go back. But yeah, the model's not cut. It's just the way OBS has it. The way I've settled myself so I can fling myself around the screen if I want to. Screen! But yeah. Anyway, I got distracted. We were having a phone call with a policeman. Sorry to keep you waiting. Oh, not at all. Didn't take that long. It became apparent that the amount of time had passed between myself and Aoshi-san was different. Also, that you're a paranoid motherfucker. That tea must have had a crazy ingredient in it. You're the one who asked me to flip. Over the phone, I could hear an energetic voice from a sports program or something. It drove home just how far away Aoshi-san really was. Rena came just now. Did she come to play? I wasn't confident that I could coherently explain the situation to Aoshi-san. But I didn't need to right now. Right now, I needed to know about Rena. Your model was glitching. Yeah! It can't handle the power of a cup of tea, you see. That's right. I was planning to ask Aoshi-san some more about Rena, but Rena's little visit had interrupted the conversation. What was true and what was false? I couldn't tell. One thing I knew was that the single grim reality was that Rena was suspicious. I might be able to figure something out if I asked Aoshi-san about her. Up until now, I had regretted it whenever I forced myself to ask about things that I was better off not knowing. But looking at it that way, you could say I'd hit rock bottom. There was no possibility I could feel any more regret than I did now. No, rather I wanted to know if there was anything beyond this I would regret more. Forget about tomorrow. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility for something to happen tonight. I wanted to know everything I could. I was absolutely not gonna die like this. Not without knowing anything. I definitely won't. Regarding Rena Ryugu-san, I did a bit of digging. Yeah, well, it wasn't much. I understood though Aoshi-san was talking in circles. A bit meant, I dug so deep it'd be hard to discuss with you since you're her friend. Wait, if Aoshi-san was like, wait, you slammed her fingers in the door? That's battery, I'm gonna arrest you. I think they'd very quickly take him in and figure out his mental state and probably realize that Keiji is not in a great state of mind right now. Honestly, I don't think it would be a bad thing for Keiji to get arrested right now. He might get help that he sorely needs. And I don't mean in terms of protecting his life. I mean in terms of therapy. I want to know everything from your research. I don't think you'd be interested in what I have to say, though. Aoshi-san. I spoke as calmly as possible to Aoshi-san, who was continuing to avoid the issue. And then I said it. I think Rena Ryugu is suspicious. Even if the past incidents were from Aoshi-sama's curse, Rena Ryugu is involved. Innocent via insanity. Not innocent, he still did it. But, you know, it's better to try rehabilitate people via therapy than punish out of no compassion. Yes, that's how you get not offending again. Do you have some sort of proof that makes Rena-san so suspicious? The manner in which Oshi-san spoke became very firm. Do I have some sort of proof? That was him talking as a detective. I only have circumstantial evidence. I see. You could tell, even without over the phone, how disappointed Oshi-san was. Pulling on the fishing line when he felt a bite, only to reel the bait, disappointed, but ready to cast the line once more. That's how it seemed. Keiji is still resisting arrest because he isn't getting any shut-eye. He is! That's correct! It took me a moment to get that, but I got it! Oshi-san, you can't do anything without physical proof, can you? What I meant was, you can't come and save me without proof. I stuck that barb in there. Oshi-san loved roundabout ways of saying things. He understood me just fine. It's fine, Mayabata-san. I'll protect you. That was not the least bit assuring. Oshi-san was just using me to continue his investigation. I was going to get killed, and my corpse would be an important piece of evidence. That was all I was to him. Whether I'm alive or dead may be of no concern to your investigation, but it's all over for me when I die. Oshi-san went silent on the other end of the line. That may have been too blunt, but I didn't care. All I needed was to relay to Oshi-san was that I was currently in a very dangerous position. One second. There we go. So tell me about Rena. Satoshi transferred out. Not too far in the future, I'll probably also do what Rena called transferring out as well. You won't be able to find my corpse. You haven't been able to find Satoshi's yet? Alright, Mayabata, calm down. I was already suppressing my agitation even without Oshi-san having to tell me. It wouldn't solve anything if I continued to scream about my mistrust in the police. It would seem that I could only depend on myself and the bat Satoshi left behind to protect myself. Then at least I wanted to know about what happened before Rena transferred schools. You're aware that this won't be very interesting, right? Oshi-san, realizing my resolve, couldn't be swayed. Finally caved in. What was that accent? I have no idea. Right. Now tell me. There is nothing that I'll find uninteresting. Please. There's a few things you need to agree to. Okay. Please keep this confidential. Also, part of this may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested? It might not be true? I don't understand what you mean. There isn't one main investigation for the mysterious chain of deaths in Hinamizawa. Each one is treated as its own individual case. Thus, Rena Ryugu has never been linked to any of these investigations. Basically, you see, this isn't an investigation of Rena done by the police. This is a personal inquiry. Is this what you're telling me? I'll make things... This'll make things a lot quicker, since you understand. All of it is either from phone calls or meetings and interviews. So they aren't corroborated. I'm asking you to take all of this with a grain of salt. That's what I mean. Do we have an agreement? All of it is just what you heard? Yes, my apologies. It's on my personal investigation, you see. That thing before, you said you saw Rena's chart, didn't you? I'm sure I heard you say that. Oshi-san paused for a moment on the other end of the line. I told you that too. Pretend you didn't hear anything about that. I didn't care about Oshi-san having certain obligations and responsibilities. I also didn't care if there was no proof. Even if they were just rumors, there's no smoke without fire after all. Please, Oshi-san. Understood. Oshi-san finally opened those tight lips of his. What you got for us? What you got for us? It seemed that Rena lived in Hinamizuwa a long time ago. She had moved to Ibaraki Prefecture just before starting elementary school. Then, following that, right after transferring, the unfortunate incident with the breaking of the school windows happened. Things. Then Rena confided to a doctor. It was Orishio-sama. This was everything I knew. There isn't much difference between what I know and what you know, Mayabara-san. Then what part did you investigate further? I didn't need to ask. It was the incident right before she transferred back to Hinamizuwa. The incident Rena was responsible for, and what she divulged to the doctor afterwards, correct? Yes. After you learned about that, you started suspecting Rena and the others, didn't you? Yes, I did suspect them. So, they're the ones after all. No, that's not what I mean by suspect them. Huh? Oshi-san was the type of person to say things with confidence, but these particular words were less reassuring. And who did you suspect? That it was Oyashiro-sama. Huh? That Oyashiro-sama's curse really exists. Yeah, right, well. Oshi-san's laugh was quite dry, certainly not the kind that would make you want to join in. Oshi-san resumed the conversation about the dubious circumstances behind Satoshi's disappearance, the cause of events leading up to him to delve into Rena's past. Just then, there was thunder in the distance and heavy rain started pouring down. It came without warning, a downpour fiercely beating the ground. I had left the window in my room open a crack to let the heat out. The violent wind danced into my room, making the curtains flap wildly. What is it? Nothing. It suddenly started raining heavily. Sorry, please continue. I got up while on the phone and grasped the window. I said at the beginning it was an incident, but because neither the school nor the victims filed charges, the police were never involved. You want rainy noises instead of fireplace noises, but it's not raining in the library. It'd be weird. So you see, those involved were very reluctant to talk, regardless of there being a victim who had one eye beaten so badly they had permanent damage. It could have been the school or possibly some individual. It could have been the school or possibly some individual who made arrangements to keep this from going public. Also, the psychologist was very strict about their professional ethics, as they should be as a psychologist. I don't know. I don't want too much noise. This is actually kind of a lot of noise to be in the background of a reading stream, I think. It's also a very short loop, apparently. Hello? Mayamada-san? Can you hear me? There was a figure of a person standing by a light near the mailbox this whole time. Even in this torrential rain, they didn't have an umbrella. They were unquestionably drenched from head to toe. In this shower, which more resembled a waterfall, droplets of water dripped from their hair. Just standing there, both arms dangling by her side. In one hand was a stack of boxes wrapped in cloth. Her eyes focused on my room. Fine, I'll wait for natural rain, which shouldn't even be very audible for your audience. Focused on me as I was about to close the window. Her mouth was methodically repeating a chewing motion. It was as if she had something hard to chew in her mouth, with her cheeks puffing out. What could she be eating over there? How could she be doing that at a time like this? I was more enthralled by Rena, instead of shocking developments being brought by Oshi-san. If it hadn't started raining, I wouldn't have gone to the window. Then I wouldn't have noticed Rena. Nor would I have noticed that. Rena's mouth was moving in the same pattern. She wasn't eating something, she was repeating something. What was it? What was she repeating? To me? What was she saying? And why was I, right up against the window, fixated on her? Hello? Mayamada-san? Can you hear me? Hello? I'm sorry. Huh? Mayamada-san? I'm sorry. Hello? Mayamada-san? What's the matter? Even in the torrential downpour, Rena was still apologizing. The other self inside me drew the curtains hastily, with my right hand blocking the view from outside. But even doing that, Rena's relentless apologies still reached my ears. I'm sorry. I forgive you. If I forgive you for this, will you forgive me for that? Please stop. I'm sorry. Oh, damn it. Why should I have to forgive her? I'm the one who wants to be forgiven. What part of me can't you forgive? I won't be killed. If you won't forgive me, then I won't forgive you either. I won't forgive. Mayabata-san? Hello? If you can hear me, then please respond. Hello? Doko? Mayabata-san? Nope, just rain. Nothing but the rain. Woo! New tips acquired. Split personality and at 7th mark. Moshi moshi, Mayabara-san. View new tips. Let's go see what happened at 7th Mart. Hello! The 7th Mart was a bargain supermart with food and alcohol. Keiji's mum. What is this, Keiji? So many! There's no reason for you to get all different kinds, is there? I flopped all the different kinds of coloured cup noodles into the bowls into the cart. Cup noodles have gotten elaborate recently, and there's a bunch of different types. I want to try each of them at least once. I knew it was pretty selfish of me, but I'd at least wanted to give it a try. Keiji, buy them in the big case, it's cheaper. Dad faltered. Well, I had a feeling it'd end up like this. Now that Dad had thrown his hat into this ring, I had to compromise. I guess Mum's the soft one then. Then I'll only get to eat the one kind. I'll get bored of it. I was resisting as a formality, obviously. I had already given up inside and wasn't sure which case of noodles to get. If you can't pick, then Mummy will pick for you. You don't have to rush me. I quickly searched the cases of noodles for what I want. Pork bone and ginger, large cup. Pork bone and ginger, large cup? Hey, Keiji, can you get a more normal one? If I let Mum pick, she'd err on the side of safety and get soy sauce or salt flavour. Isn't that basically the same? They're both very salty. So when I plonked a large bark of pork bone flavour in the shopping cart, Mum looked back at me with an expression as if to say, "These ones? Really? I judge you." To show her this was my last compromise, I began explaining the choice. Pork bone is good. You get a large serving, but the flavour isn't too strong. I remember insisting that the noodles I picked up were the right kind. In this frozen memory in time, this encapsulated world, I didn't have the power to look around my surroundings. So I did what I could to reach out with my hearing and vision, sharpening my senses to find the presence I overlooked. No matter how much I searched through my field of vision, I couldn't see Rena. I rewound the situation searching, but of course, I couldn't find her. Then, was she spying from me from my blind spot? I go through the sounds and presences again, looking. I could sense other customers. They were all mixed about, moving as they please. Hey Briny, do you trust characters based on how you would realistically trust them? Or trust them on favoritism? Well that all depends on how you're asking I trust them. Probably based on how I'd realistically trust them. Because, I mean, problematic faves are a thing. You can like someone and know they ain't trustworthy. They were all mixed about, moving as they please. There was nobody over this way, nobody trying to get behind me. Not here. Couldn't be here. Probably wasn't here. I would definitely notice if someone was right behind me, even when I wasn't on my guard. I smiled wryly at the thought of using vague words like probably right before contradicting it with definitely. I wouldn't trust these kids with safety scissors. Correct! Well, I didn't trust Rena because she literally followed him around. Did she, though? Did she? Or was she fucking around with him then, and didn't realise what his mental state was like at the time? She knows that he has pork bone because his mum told her. She knows that what he's like, so she knows that was probably the situation that happened. It's predictable if you know Keiji. But he's just paranoid as fuck. I don't think he did follow him. No, I don't think she did follow him in the grocery store. I don't think she was. I paused, unless this is going to prove me wrong now. I paused my mental replay as a chill ran down my spine. There was definitely a presence, like a shadow behind me. That was a terror unlike any other. If a presence really had manifested behind me, I would definitely have turned around to check for it. But the world had moved on. There was no way for me to turn around. And again, I don't think this was a thing either. I think he's added that in because he's paranoid as fuck. Your memories are not reliable. While carrying that frightening shadow on my back, I was gleefully running around the store searching for a case of noodles. He said it himself. If he really thought someone was there, he would have looked. Running through the instant noodles section, bad-mouthing my mum. But there was that presence constantly at my back, sticking to me like a shadow. No way to see what it was, realizing it now after the fact, horrifying and repulsive. In that moment of time, I was running around gleefully, carrying that cardboard box. Tip-tap. But listening to that moment again, I could hear footsteps other than mine, going pit-pat with every step. Tip-tap, tip-tap, tip-tap. Pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat. Tip-tap, tip-tap. Pit-pat, pit-pat. Tip-tap, pit-pat. While I was running, the sound of those barefoot footsteps going pit-pat were right behind me. Barefooted? Yeah, that's how you know this is his brain playing tricks on him. Why would Renner not have shoes on? Me running around gleefully in that closed-off moment in time. But I didn't hear it. No, I heard it. That's why I remembered it. No, you're inserting it into your own memory, you dumbass. I didn't think I heard anything. That's why I didn't turn around. Spoilers, Void. That's why I didn't turn around. In that moment, the pit-pat of those footsteps were following me the entire time. No, they weren't. I couldn't run faster and escape. I couldn't run any faster than I had ran at the time. I couldn't turn around. I hadn't turned around before, not once. And that's why it wasn't there! When I returned to my parents and started talking, the shadow-like presence right behind my back, since I didn't move, the shadow didn't move. That's why it made no sound. That was all. At that time, I hadn't taken a single step while talking with my parents. I was just standing there. This was undeniable. And yet, I heard it. No, you didn't. Stop lying to yourself, KG. A pit-pat. That shouldn't be. If I took 3 steps, it followed 3 steps. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much afraid of his own shadow at this point. Wasn't that the rule? There was no sound other than that. At the time, the entire world had gone dark. A sudden darkness. It was the end of my reflective journey. I was tired. I wanted to end it. Someone turn on the light. Except my body couldn't move. As if I was sewn into that moment in time. Pit-pat. My past self's hair stood on end. That's impossible. Now that's just breaking the rules. Exactly. He is just freaking hallucinating at this point. I haven't moved. So you shouldn't be moving either. I couldn't move. So you shouldn't be able to move either. Follow the rules. Pit-pat. Yet that sound echoed in the darkness once again. The hair on the back of my neck pricked up on end. It was so close that it was hard to tell whether it was touching the hair or not. Why couldn't I move? Like the presence was moving behind me. I quickly realized I could move. It's just that I was scared and didn't want to. But now was the only time I could turn around. It was something unforgivable in that moment of time, but I needed to turn around immediately. As if my entire being was trying to force me to stop. It began to administer a pain like a needle being stuck into every pore. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. I'm not scared at all. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. I'm not scared at all. I scream. A scream I was unable to vocalize. Oh! I turned around. At first, I couldn't understand the meaning of it. What? What is this? Just as a person's mouth might bite into an apple, slurp the juices, and finally discover that it was an apple, my mind began to process the scene before my eyes by eating the apple. Munch, munch, chew, chew. Slurp the juices and discover the apple. Meaning, what was in front of me was... Grah! It's a monster! So he's just having a nightmare. Basically me when I have too much caffeine. My shadow is staring at me, Briny. It has a low opinion of me. Staring at me. Briny has a low opinion of me. I wasn't positive enough. And I've had too much coffee. And I need to stop being like Brian drinking tea. That's occasion. Yeah, you should drink tea. Hopefully it won't cause you to have caffeine meltdowns. That would be great. Okay, split personality, question mark, question mark, question mark. Reporter, I see it quite often in movies, but what is it exactly? Professor, multiple personalities are thought to be escapism. Multiple personality disorder is a form of escape? Correct. The exact mechanism is not fully understood, but it's believed to be a type of defense for the brain to retain mental stability. Hypothetically, poor people imagining themselves as wealthy is a form of escapism, is it not? It is also a form of multiple personality disorder. I wouldn't go that far, but broadly speaking, one could infer that. It's something that occurs in us all. You didn't know that multiple personality disorder has a name? It's BPD? Bipolar personality disorder is also a thing. Yeah, it's been much more research nowadays. There's a lot more info about it on the interwebs now. No, the caffeine thing? I don't know. However, I know that when brains get too much energy, they're very good at slipping down self-hating rabbit holes, so I understand that. Does a split personality occur when one cannot tell which one is reality and which one is escape? That's difficult to say. There are some who agree that and some who disagree. There's no consensus. Then, is the occurrence of multiple personalities still an unknown phenomenon? Something not fully comprehended in the psychiatric field? Unfortunately, that is the current state of things. Oh, I missed that a minute. Unfortunately, that is the current state of things. We can only put our hope in future research. But it's sort of cool having a split personality. What kind of people get split personalities? Recent studies find that people who develop it, or rather those who are more susceptible to developing, may be genetically predisposed or may have had abnormal mental development. Some say that childhood abuse increases the chances. Speaking of which, person A here experiences abuse as a child, didn't he? How sad. Person A has 7 different personalities. Let's watch a video of him. Right after these commercials! I see, it was a TV show talking about it. Nice. I have read all the tips in this chapter, apparently. I just got an achievement. So, does that make this the last chapter then? Which makes sense, because like I said, I felt like I was getting close to the end of Higurashi, so it's either going to finish today or next stream for this chapter's ending. How exciting! Continue! I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't get any sleep. I tried to stay awake all night, but there was definitely gaps in my memory. You read the tips, but you didn't get any monetary tips. That's true! If anyone wants to give me those, I would be grateful. I guess I kept nodding off and jerking awake in panic all night. I think for this chapter I'm pretty close to the end. Like I said, based on my knowledge of the anime, I spent all night hugging the metal bat and sat on top of the futon I used to barricade the door. Waiting, watching, just in case someone tried to break through my window. If I left this spot, someone would break through the window, sending the futon flying and attack me. But if I stopped watching the window, someone would break through the glass and attack me. I tried telling myself I was just being paranoid, but I couldn't sleep. The thought of being so vulnerable scared the living daylights out of me. If sleep meant taking that risk, I didn't need it. It was so much better to just be awake. At some point during that endless cycle of nodding off and jolting awake, light began to shine outside. But that was it. It wasn't so much the morning as it was simply the sun having risen. I snuck a peek through the curtains. Rena was gone. I couldn't see her anywhere, no matter how hard I looked. Finally, I could breathe a deep sigh of relief. The night was finally over. Totally normal behavior game. Yep, totally normal. Everything's fine. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired, but I didn't feel like sleeping at the moment. I still had time. But I needed to make my own breakfast, so I better get started soon. Skipping school was also an option. With my mum gone, I'd easily play hooky. Honestly, I debated it. The risk involved in leaving my house was incalculable. So staying holed up here was probably my safest option. But staying here wouldn't solve anything. Hoshi-san wouldn't help me without cold, hard evidence. Neither he nor my parents. So unless I found some sort of proof, these relentless nights would never end. I stretched my body, tilted my head back, and closed my eyes just like I did every day. Breakfast! Regulating my breath, my breathing, and regained my senses. Calm down, Keiji Mayabara. Let's go to school. So how went that night of Keiji being a horrible liar? Okay, so Rena turned up, obviously, as you know. She guessed what food he was eating. She knew that he wasn't alone. He got super paranoid about it. He shut her fingers in the door. She managed to squirm out of it eventually. Then he went back upstairs to talk to the policeman and spotted Rena outside in the rain, mumbling, I'm sorry, over and over again. Yay! He's generally bad at lying. Have you not noticed? Let's wait until they set a trap for me. But that didn't mean I was just going to twiddle my thumbs. I needed to avoid that trap and secure my irrefutable evidence. Take note of the plates of any cars that drive by. If I see someone suspicious, check their clothes and face. I wasn't just protecting myself, I was preparing to turn their attack against them and retaliate. The tension was similar to when two samurai were both aiming to slay each other with a single motion as they drew their katana. I was not at a disadvantage. I would have a chance to retaliate. Yeah, Rena said that she was there when KG actually bought said noodles because she was stalking him. I don't think that's the case. But KG's too hyper-paranoid right now, so hey-ho. I finally felt a bit of courage growing in my chest. All right, let's go to school. I tightened my grip on Satoshi's bat. He was the only partner I could count on. Satoshi, please lend me your strength. And entrust your dying regrets to me, since you were probably murdered. In brackets, since you're probably murdered. I'll make sure I dispel them. With renewed resolve, I checked the clock. It was still early. Of course, I was going to school by myself today. Why doesn't KG have a tarantula? I don't know. Because if I didn't want to run into Rena or Mion, I needed to leave now. The shattered fragments of the cupboard were still strewn all over the entryway. Right, I meant to clean that up last night, but I never got around to it with the phone call and everything. Uh-oh, is he gonna go to school swinging? Potentially. If my parents come back and saw it while I was at school, I would never hear the end of it. Still, I'd be wasting time to clean it up right now, and considering what would happen if I ran into Rena or Mion, it would be too late to clean it up after I got back home. Making extra certain the doors were locked, I left the house. My uniform was still covered in mud from yesterday, so I left it in the washer. Today I was going to school in my tracksuit. By wearing a different outfit this morning, my mind was forced to accept that today was different from yesterday. I had a hunch. Today might be the day I get killed. Positive. Keep your guard up, Keiji Mayabara. The only one who gets to decide if today is my last day is me! Indeedly do. You got this, Keiji. Or do you? I don't know. Yeah. This might definitely be the last chapter. How exciting. Yeah, half right. Yes, yes. I spent the morning practicing my swing like it was my natural routine. After a while, Rena arrived at school. Our eyes met, but we said nothing. Rena said nothing about last night, as if it never happened. But I could see that those events were real by the wounds carved into her fingers. I just heard her telling Satoko and the others that the bandages were from hurting herself in the kitchen. Though it wasn't like it bothered me. The details that Aoshi-san has shared about Rena's incident before her transfer played vividly in my mind. Now that I knew about it, I couldn't even dream of Rena as a cute, ideal girl. I wonder when the bat repeater things started appearing. Oh wait, this is not Minecraft. Nope. I will defy my death. Dead from a flying baseball bat. Keiji-chan, I see you're still aiming for nationals. It was Mion. I had already sensed her approach, so I was not surprised. Oh, Mion. If you understand, then leave me alone. I'm busy practicing. I gave her a curt reply without my usual jokes. Then I gave the bat an even larger swing, tactically keeping Mion away from me. Hey, Kei-chan, take it easy! I think Mion got the message, but she still urged me to give it a rest. Homeroom's not that far off, is it? Just let me finish practicing. I swung the bat even harder as a sign of my refusal. Kei-chan, when did you get into baseball? Just recently. Recently? You mean yesterday? Don't ask if you already know. Oh dear. That's a very unsportsmanlike reply. Oh, Mimi. You're distracting me. Go away. I ignored Mion and kept swinging. Whoosh, whoosh. Normally she'd get mad or bored and leave if someone gave her the cold shoulder like this. But Mion just stood there, waiting patiently for me to stop swinging. I didn't sense any hostility. But we were at school in plain view. Ayo, so it's crazy that 5 months ago you had 50 subscribers and now you have like 9... I don't quite have 950, I have 941. But it is crazy, yes. A very successful year. Incredible. I really hope to be at 1K by the end of the year. That's my goal. That's my dream. I am successful VTuber. Yeah. I doubt she'd suddenly attack me here. Or was that too naive? Still, I was starting to get tired. Doesn't Tim give people the cold shoulder? Moon Girl puns! We love them! Hey, if you want to know who Tim is, there's a book in the corner and you should go buy it. And you can use that discount code for 10% off on Smashwords! Still, I was starting to get tired. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to take a break and hear her out. You need me for something, right? What is it? Sweat poured from me as I stopped swinging. I noticed my shoulders were heaving as I breathed. I curse my lack of exercise. Every day I do too, Kenji. Every day. At this rate, I might not be able to move as needed when the time came. I should probably keep practicing my swings to build stamina, in addition to the excuse of carrying a bat around with me. Well, it's nothing important. If you're tired, I can ask again later. No, it's fine. Every day I curse my lack of exercise. That is what I curse every day. I'm only dealing with you right now because I judge this situation to be safe. Talking to you alone, away from others, that is out of the question. Well, Mion was uncharacteristically trying to choose her words. But unlike Aoshi-san, she didn't look like she was going to talk... She was going to talk about something I'd rather not hear. Mion was puzzled, trying to think of the right way to say. But then she gave a hearty laugh to break herself out of her mire. This old man's just no good at this stuff. Having poor vocabulary hurts. What's this all of a sudden? If you have something to say, just say it. Stop it. Stop that swinging. She cut straight to the point. Her request was so frank, I just didn't understand it for a moment. I had already stopped swinging to listen to her, hadn't I? I just stopped, didn't I? That's not what I meant. I want today to be the last day you swing that bat. Is Mion out for the kill, is she? I'm sorry. It took me some time to understand what she was asking for. What's wrong with swinging a bat? Why? It's none of your business, is it? I'm not bothering anyone, am I? You are. Mion said it flat out. This didn't make any sense, and that was really irritating. When did I bother anybody? Mion was at a loss for words. But she finally made up her mind and spoke, though she stuttered a little bit as she says it. But because, Ki-chan, that's someone else's bat. You shouldn't borrow it without permission. It was left behind by a student who transferred, right? We're just borrowing it until he comes back for it. Yeah. He transferred. Mion grew uncharacteristically flustered. That made it all too clear that his transfer was a lie. But strange, isn't it? For the older brother to transfer by himself, while his little sister stayed behind. Mion couldn't hide her reaction as my words shook her up. Kei-chan, you knew? Satoshi Hojo. Satoko's older brother, right? The one demoned away last year. Unable to respond to that, Mion fell silent. Rena asked the same thing. Why did you start singing that bat? She told me Satoshi did the same thing, practicing his swings, right before he went missing. So, is this some kind of omen for Onyeshiro-sama's curse? Shh! Mion panicked and looked around. Please, Kei-chan, don't mention Onyeshiro-sama so recklessly! I don't believe in him, but others very much do. Hey, alive student, can I have your bat? Grabs his head and forces him to nod. Yes, see, I have permission. Rena especially. Dangerously so. Anyway, you're scaring everyone. If you're just fooling around, then stop it. You have to stop acting like Satoshi. I was the one who was scared. Who do I have to thank for taking up this bat in the first place? But it still unsettled me knowing that my actions were overlapping with Satoshi's. It would be one thing if someone suggested it, but I thought I was making my own decisions. I'll say this now. I don't know anything about Satoshi. After all, you didn't tell me anything about him. What? We didn't mean to hide it. You were hiding the incidents that happen every year, weren't you? That's because... we didn't want you... you didn't want to scare me. Is that the reason for leaving me out? No, we didn't mean to. Mion, I asked you directly if something happened to the dam, didn't I? And you told me nothing happened. When someone was dismembered and murdered! You lied to me. I'm sorry. Oh, I missed. She said more. I didn't mean to lie to you. Friends don't hide things from each other, right? Isn't that right? Then all of you aren't my friends. Kei-chan, Mion looked helpless and flustered. Was I imagining the tears in her eyes? I never could have imagined Mion acting like this. Oh, by the way, those get well mochi you brought the other day, they were good. I thought I was going to bleed. Who did it? You? Or Rena? Me. She admitted it so easily. I couldn't help but be surprised at how easy that was. You could have killed me! How could you do that to a friend? But it was just a little prank. Mion gave me a wry smile mixed with confusion, causing even more anger to well up inside me. You think that was a prank? I grabbed Mion by the collar and lifted her up. That wasn't the same thing as putting Tabasco sauce in a piece of mochi. It was a needle, a sewing needle. If I'd swallowed that and it lodged in my throat, what did she think was going to happen? Mion's face froze as her body rattled in fear. This wasn't Mion Sonozaki I knew anymore. Anyways, you're not my friend. There's no reason for me to listen to someone who's not my friend. So leave me alone for a while. Got it? Mion wasn't replying anymore. It won't be that easy to erase me, you know. The cops have already been on to you from the start. So don't think you can make me disappear like you did Satoshi. I said it clearly. This was my declaration of war. I think you guys are suspects in the previous instance too. I also know you spent a lot of time with the cops ever since the damn movement. Don't think you can hide it from me. Got that? How? How did you know? Mion stood there with a dumbstruck look on her face. And that was when I heard the principal ringing the bell for school. It was time for morning homeroom. Let's go. The class representative needs to be there, right? At that moment, for the first time, I realized Mion was sobbing as tears ran down her cheeks. You're so mean, Kei-chan! I wanted to console her, but I shut my mouth. I had no need to feel guilty. I'm going. Don't be late for homeroom. I left Mion shaking as I turned around to head for the entrance. Ruthless! I need to turn on my light, it's getting dark, BRB. And by BRB, I'm gonna stay in the room! Just turn on the light. Yeah! We got light. And you can see how my wonderful glitching happens, it's great. Lights down, light on, I can see again. We're not gonna hurt my eyes. Okay, comfy, go. Made a girl cry, KG. Made a girl cry. I had no idea how troubling it was to make a girl cry. Behind my back, I could hear her muttering. It was a faint mutter as she was speaking to herself. So that's how it is. Huh? She wasn't saying it to anyone. It was Mion talking to herself. But it wasn't the sobbing voice of the kind... It wasn't a sobbing voice that had a kind of giddy cursing tone. I inadvertently stopped and turned back towards her. Ugh. So it was. That bastard. He leaked it all to Kei-chan. She balled up her fist as her tears continued to rain down. She glared at a spot at the ground with a terrifying, yet smiling face, cursing. A chill ran down my spine from that demonic expression. This transformation, Mion's transformation, was different from Rena's. I should have killed him back then. He forgot the mercy I showed him just because he was going to retire this year. Retiring this year? Was she talking about Oshi-san? It is Oshi-san's fault that you're in this, I'm not gonna lie. Damn it, I'm going to kill him. Grandpa's gonna die! The damned old man. It felt like the air itself had begun distorting, With Mion at the centre, the world had begun to twist and spiral. You make Briny cryiny? I use the mod term. But if you make Mion cry, then everyone turns against you. Bending, whirling. This is the first time I'd experienced such a visage. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Rise. Attention! Mion made up an excuse for her red eyes by saying that there was something wrong with her contacts. After that, neither Rena nor Mion spoke to me for the rest of the day. Neither Satoko nor Rika looked me in the eye. Strangely, I didn't feel hurt. Everything just went back to the way it was. The months since I transferred in had been too much fun. That was all. School was supposed to be something like this to begin with. I should have disliked that feeling, but today it felt oddly refreshing. Ding, 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 ding. The bell rung, sounding the end of the monotonous school day, which had felt so tense yet so dull. Since it would cause a lot of unpleasant memories if they asked me to join in the club activities, I promptly started preparing to go home without even looking at them. I stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag, wrapped my hand around Satoshi's now familiar bat, and began heading towards the entrance. I was assailed by both the exhausting relief that nothing had happened today and the tiring possibility of the same thing repeating tomorrow. But deep down inside me, far beneath the recesses of my heart, achingly I knew this would be the last day of the cycle. I couldn't tell how the ending would be. Whether it would end as I wished it to end, or if it would end as I hoped it would. Regardless, in my current state, there was something more important than how things would end. There's something I wanted to know. Why did I have to be killed? How did it come to this? Why? For what purpose? The sunlight was relentless. The sun, the heat, even the air. They wouldn't give me answers. Or could it be that the cries of the Higurashi were desperately trying to tell me something? Somewhere mixed in their shrieks. Tomitake-san and Satoshi were also probably trying to tell me something. I simply haven't been able to realize it yet. When I do realize it, I wonder if I'll be amongst the Higurashi fruitlessly crying to the next victim. Glancing down at my feet, I saw a Higurashi on its back, spasming weakly. Bwee, 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 bwee. That's the tone. Remember that when I started this and I was trying to figure out how to do a cicada noise? That's it. Bwee, 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 bwee. Bwee, 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 bwee. There was still so much summer left, yet this one was already chirping its last song. I couldn't tell what it was saying, no matter how hard I listened. But I had to try. Listen to what it was desperately trying to... This is how paranoid he is! He's like, tell me the secrets of the universe, cicada! When the briny cries, she does her best anyway. She continues to stream. At that moment, the shills of the Higurashi ceased all at once, as if they had huddled together, fearing that the person who'd brought them to their dreadful fate had arrived. There was no mistaking it. A presence was approaching. The sound of footsteps was almost non-existent. If the Higurashi hadn't warned me by ending their chirping, I wouldn't have noticed. My exhaustion left me in a heartbeat. In its place was a rush of adrenaline that sharpened all of my senses. I was just barely able to hold back that creeping, suffocating feeling of horror. It wasn't something I could hold back for long, but in this moment I needed to be razor sharp. I was able to retain my composure. I wasn't going to shout like I did yesterday. I hid myself calmly amongst the trees, waiting for my pursuers' shadows. Could I get them to pass by me? No. Since I was able to hear their footsteps, they were probably also able to hear mine. They might already have been able to tell that I had hidden myself and I was holding my breath. The person tailing me, was it Rena? Just like yesterday? If it was Rena, I wouldn't hold back. I could just yell at her and make her go away like yesterday. But if it wasn't Rena, it would depend how they acted, I guess. The footsteps ambled closer. I swallowed, wiped my clammy hands on my pants and readjusted the grip on my back. I could tell that the fear that I had been beating back once was now waiting for another opening to come at me. Who could it be? I peeked out from behind the tree at the person following me. My imagination hadn't led me astray. It was Rena. Oh wait, does she get the cleaver in this chapter? Oh, I might have been wrong. There was a bit of relief as I realised that it was someone I knew. But that feeling left me in an instant. This wasn't the Rena that I knew. Her eyes were dark and lifeless. But her mouth appeared as if it was carved into a crescent. Yes, it looked like she was grinning slightly. And in her right hand, yes, it's the cleaver! It's her best friend. Was a hatchet. I hid myself behind the tree once again. I recalled the unbelievable sight I just saw. What was that just now? The embodiment of terror laid bare. Yeah, slice of life. I do agree. It is, in fact, a slice of life. Baseball, practicing my swing. There was tons of excuses for me carrying around a bat. But for that hatchet? There was no excuses for that. A hatchet? Just like that? Keiji-kun, are you playing hide and seek? I wonder. My heart was pounding. Hard enough that I had trouble breathing. What little composure I had been able to hold on to was now crushed in its place. Cold sweat gushed forth, covering my entire body, letting me know precisely what kind of emotion had taken hold. Not good. I wasn't able to hide myself completely. She already knew I was here. Were you trying to scare me? I wonder. I decided that it would be better to reveal myself now, since there was still space between us than allow Rena to come any closer. I adjusted my grip on the bat, readied myself mentally, and stepped out from behind the tree. Oh, hi there. I found you, Keiji-kun. Rena was pleased that she found me, eliciting a mysterious giggle. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes told me she was displeased by the fact that I had been hiding. Those eyes. They were just so empty. My legs began to quiver. Oh, not good. In the pit of my stomach, some sort of viscous, hot and cold substance began spreading around. If I allowed it, that substance would slip into my bloodstream and undoubtedly freeze all my organs in my body. Not good, not good. I'll be devoured by Rena at this rate. Strike back. Don't lose. What is it? I blustered, hiding behind my bravado. But Rena didn't flinch one bit. Just the same as Keiji-kun. I'm heading home. Then, what about the hatchet? All the better to kill you with. And what about the bat you're holding? I'm practicing my swing. Then I'm treasure hunting. Rena gave a flippant explanation as to why she had such a fearsome weapon. Treasure hunting? At the treasure mountain near the dam site. I found a new cute thing. So I needed to dig it out. How could I believe that? You wouldn't believe it, would you? Rena's laugh was obviously very strange. I'd seen Rena's transformation so many times before, but the one today was completely different. Like her mischievous tone and the shrewd glint in her eyes. It was something that, roundabout, I'm not sure what to say. It was just so obvious. Wait, Keiji-kun? Rena didn't stop walking, even as she let out that eerie laugh. Whenever Rena got close to me, I would scurry away and turn back towards her. The cycle repeated over and over. No matter how you looked at it, I was being chased by Rena and there was no escape. Don't follow me! I can't do that. My house is this way after all. When I met with Rena on this road yesterday, she cowered and trembled as she followed my commands, but today was different. Rena didn't show a hint of trepidation. Actually, wasn't I the one cowering? If the way home for Rena and me was the same, that's fine. I'd just change my route. That would work out, wouldn't it? I turned into a side street I'd never been down and knew little about. But Rena saw me and followed me while laughing. Why? Why? Aren't you going home? Just go home, down the street you normally do. You gotta go. Okie dokie, I'll see you later, Void. Have a good day. Why would you follow me down this weird little side road? Those thoughts screamed in my head, eventually spilling out of my mouth. Why are you following me? The tone of my voice was already tinged with terror. Because I want to talk to you, Keiji-kun. Keiji-kun wants to talk to Rena too, doesn't he? Doesn't he? I don't want to talk about anything with you. That's a lie, isn't it? There's something you want to ask me about, isn't there? Not at all. I have nothing to talk to you about. That's a lie, isn't it? It's not a lie. Lies! Rena's scream echoed, startling some of the nearby birds into flight. I cringed in fear. The only thing I could do was increase my pace. Let's talk, Keiji-kun. Talk. Talk? Why was I running down an unfamiliar and deserted street? Doesn't Keiji-kun have something he's worried about? No, nothing at all. I'm not worried about anything. This is fine. This is fine. Lies! Even though I was running, even though Rena was walking, why wasn't I getting any further away? I know. I really do know. You're scared, aren't you, Keiji-kun? I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything. Lies! My breathing grew heavy, and it felt like my legs were giving out from beneath me. Rena wasn't even breaking a sweat. I'll listen. This time, I'll listen. I had no idea what she was talking about, or what exactly she wanted to do. This time, I'll listen. It'll be different from last time, with Satoshi-kun. When she said Satoshi's name, I turned back for a moment. But even as I did that, Rena was still advancing. I couldn't afford to stop. Satoshi-kun was worried too. It looked like he was having a hard time, but I didn't listen. I was so sad. Where did this street connect to? All these twists and turns, ups and downs. It was hard to believe that this was even remotely close to, in the direction to my house. My sense of direction had long since gone out the window. I really regretted it when Satoshi-kun transferred out. I thought that if I had listened, he may not have transferred out. I really regretted that. The road led me deeper into the forest. I was getting farther and farther away from the village the more I ran. I lost more and more of my composure the more I thought about it, but despite this realization, my inner self was still disturbingly calm. So you see, I vowed that if there was someone struggling like Satoshi-kun did, I'd save them. I don't want to see anyone transfer out again. Damn it. What does transfer even mean? I won't let you transfer me. I won't end up the same as Satoshi-kun. Come on, Keiji-kun. Talk to me. I'll be able to understand you, Keiji-kun. I'm your ally. I started wheezing out of breath. My lungs were so hot that they felt like they were going to explode, and my heart was beating as hard as it possibly could. I should have practiced running instead of swinging. Yeah, probably. I couldn't even afford to scoff at that stupid thought. If Keiji-kun doesn't have anything to worry about, he'll go back to normal. Everyone will go back to being friends, and we can enjoy club activities again. Next time, we'll team up and beat Mi-chan. Yeah, how much fun would that be? Rena couldn't even imagine how much I wished I could turn back the clock on these past few days. You could be nice to me again, too. I want to go searching for treasure again. This time, I'll prepare a nice lunch. Actually, we could just go right now. Let's go up to the dam site together. I'll show you the cute thing I just found. I'm sure you'll like it too. I'd love to know what that laughing is kind of supposed to sound like, because I don't think my maniacal cackle is really what it's supposed to sound like. My footsteps made pathetic flapping sounds as my legs wobbled and faltered. Hot on my heels, Rena's steps were sharply breaking twigs underfoot. I had to accept it. I was on the run, being chased by Rena. If she caught me, it was all over. I realized it instinctively. couldn't even begin to think of what the end would entail. Just that if I was caught, it was all over. That's all I knew. It didn't matter how it was going to end. I wouldn't let it end. Not without knowing anything. Not yet! That momentary lapse was all it took. Of all things that could have happened, my knees buckled underneath me, and I crumbled towards the ground. I tried to stand frantically, urging my legs to respond. I used my bat as a makeshift cane to prop myself up, but Rena was already standing in front of me. Compared to me, out of breath and utterly exhausted, Rena was cool and composed. That she could have froze the air around her. She wasn't breathing hard at all. Rather, I couldn't even sense if her heart was beating. Are you afraid of something? I wonder. It's not like you to tremble, Keiji-kun. Her expression looked almost affectionate. Those soulless eyes, that mask of affection. She admonished me for trembling. Rena's hands deftly slipped over her head. A blur of arms moved, made me feel as if I was staring at the godliness of a 1,000-armed Buddha. Then both of her hands met above her head. The hatchet she held came into focus. I stared up in disbelief. It was all I could do. Tell me, what happened to Satoshi? Rena stayed like that, with the hatchet raised above her head, and solemnly opened her mouth. It was as if she was expressing a farewell to a friend she was never to see again. That cruel scenario resided somewhere in her actions. I told you. Satoshi-kun transferred out. Enough of that transfer crap! It means demoned away, doesn't it? Doesn't it? You can tell me now, can't you? Who made Satoshi disappear? Was it you? Mion? Or someone in the village? Answer me! I became frantic the more I screamed, but Rena did nothing but maintain the smile frozen on her face. I have no idea what Keiji-kun is talking about. Then I'll say it in a way you do. Who is the perpetrator of this chain of mysterious deaths? You seem to be confused, Keiji-kun. What? There is no human perpetrator. Everything is by Oyashiro-sama's will. Isn't Oyashiro-sama's curse just superstition? You believe in that too? It's not about believing or not. Oyashiro-sama exists. Period. Rena's gaze grew more gilded. The ferocity of her stare was so intense, not allowing me to question anything. There's just no way that something like Oyashiro-sama could exist. You don't believe in Oyashiro-sama? There's no way I could believe it. There's no way it could exist. It exists. Oyashiro-sama exists. Keiji-kun should have felt it personally. I never felt like that. Keiji-kun, haven't you felt someone apologizing to you before? Constantly, on top of that? All the noise from the outside world disappeared. Only Rena's voice resounded loudly and terribly. You see, Until you forgive them, they'll always be with you. At school, at home, and at your bedside. I couldn't understand what Rena was saying. It came to me too, when Yashiro-sama did. That's why I transferred and came back to Hinamizawa. I don't understand. I don't understand. What does transfer even mean? What was Rena saying? Hasn't Onyashiro-sama come to you as well, Keiji-kun? I'm probably the only one who you can confide in. I won't let you transfer out, okay? Rena's demented laughter clanged around inside my head. Was Rena saying Onyashiro-sama came to her as well? That's right. Last night when I heard about what happened, when I asked about Rena. Please keep this confidential. Also, part of it may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested? Oshi-sama began speaking. Neither the victims of the school, we read this not too long ago. Basically, you saying they were victims? Ren didn't just break windows? No, Ren Ryuga attacked 3 boys using a metal bat. 2 of them made it out with only bruises, but the other had been injured so badly that one of his eyes was permanently damaged. Wouldn't that be considered assault? Shouldn't the police have arrested her? For whatever reason, the victim never pressed charges. There was no report to the police, so they were beaten with a bat and suffered significant injuries. Normally, there would be a criminal investigation. But why didn't they press charges? I tried asking the 3 male victims for their side of the story, but they were all reluctant. It's hard to say, but they were all afraid. Even after she transferred schools. Oshi-san, could you summarize it from start to beginning? Rena hit people while she broke windows. Or was it she started breaking the windows after she got bored of hitting the people? They sounded similar, but the meanings were drastically different. On an undisclosed date, Rena Ryugu was conversing with 3 male students, close friends of hers, near the pool storage shed. Who were those 3? I can't reveal their names, but they were close to Rena Ryugu. It seems that they were a group of friends. She was the lone girl in their group. So it wasn't that strange that 4 of them were together. So what happened? I don't know the reason why. She took the baseball team's bat that was in the pool storage shed and beat the 3 of them down, one after another. What? There were no witnesses. This was an account pieced together by the information given at the time of the incident. One day after school, Rena and the 3 students were at the pool storage shed talking together. They weren't seeking help, rather they usually met up there. It appears it became a heated discussion. At that time, Rena underwent a change. The change was so abrupt that the 3 of them didn't comprehend what was happening. Violent bonk. Then, taking the metal bat, she attacked her friends one after another. Violent bonks! Leaving her friends covered in blood with gashes on their heads, she made her way towards the school building. Then she broke the glass windows one after another. A few minutes later, a teacher appeared on the scene and subdued her. What was this change Rena underwent? What matches up the statements from the three of them was a sudden change. The point that there was a transformation. Transformation? I also recall Rena's transformation. It seemed that changed many times before. It was so different from the usual Rena that I couldn't help but believe it was someone else who looked like Rena. That transformation they're talking about, it happened before? No, there was nothing like that. As far as I could find out in her medical history in the past, there's nothing like that. Does it happen often? Where people change suddenly like Rena did? Of course it does! There are plenty of psychological phenomena that could cause something like that. You're saying there was a dormant element in Rena that caused that transformation? I cannot say for certain. But according to the statements of her friends, it's hard to believe that she had such a side to her. Kind, caring, and adorable. Even before she transferred here, she was probably pretty popular in school like she was now. That girl transforming and suddenly assaulting them with a bat. Who could imagine such a thing? Nobody could have seen it coming. I myself sometimes believed I was mistaken for thinking it was Rena even now. Then what happened after that? There was a hospital right across from the school, so the three of them were carried away and treated quickly. What about Rena? What about the police? Why wasn't there a criminal investigation? You see, the police can't get involved unless they're called. Even though one was badly injured with permanent damage. Why didn't they file charges? That's what caught my attention as well. Either some threat or pressure was placed on them, or they had a reason they couldn't file charges even if they wanted to. We're talking about you, after all. Of course you looked into it. Well, yeah. But I told you at the beginning, didn't I? That the victims were all very reluctant to talk. They didn't want to touch that matter, or rather, they didn't want to be involved. Reluctant to talk. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to be involved. It resembled the villages here and the Onishiro-sama's curse. Did the teacher at the school tell you anything? A school is hallowed ground. You could say they tend to keep scandals under wraps. I didn't have a search warrant, so I had to tread lightly, you see. Then there was no comment from the school? No. They denied the incident ever happened. ... It's just 3 male students were carried in for blunt force trauma that day. That's all there was in the hospital records. The victims didn't speak, the school denied it happened. Then you don't know anything at all. Yeah, wait, I'm sorry, I just keep doing the Oshi voice and not actually paying attention to who's talking. I know nothing other than the incident itself has taken place. The victims also wished this incident to be kept from the public, so if you and I both forget about it, Bayabara-san, then this incident will probably fade away. For a brief period, we sat in silence. At first glance, it looked like a simple assault case. Yeah, the only difference is she didn't kill him. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. The deaths were obscured by rolling waves sinking quietly into the void, as if it never existed to begin with. After that, she was suspended by the school, and during that time she underwent psychiatric counseling. Did you hear anything from that doctor? Again, they were professional in regards to their ethics, or at least they were very tight-lipped. Nothing, even after you showed them your badge? I was told to get a warrant. The badge itself has no legally binding authority, after all. Then how did you know that Rena confessed that it was only Shiro-sama who did it? There was a nurse that I asked in the department. She agreed to help me from just showing my badge. Then what did she say? Turns out the nurse hadn't heard everything. Apparently, that all she remembered was what she overheard from inside the room. The nurse said that at the time Rena Ryuga was very calm and mild-mannered. It was more like she was confessing her sins at church than a counselling session. She spoke with her mother there for some of it, but partway through her mother was asked to leave, so it became a private counselling session between just the doctor and Rena for a while. The part with Onyashiro-sama, when did that pop up? Partway through. She screamed the name suddenly. That startled the nurse, and that's why she started listening in. Oh, we're having a flashback in a flashback! It was Onyashiro-sama! Rena suddenly shouted that. I had no idea what was said before that, but I had no idea what the meaning behind it could have been. The doctor, calmly and collected, asked Rena to have a seat. What is this Onyashiro-sama you speak of? Gently, ever so gently. A fundamental part of counselling is to be a good and patient listener. Whoever abandons Hinamizawa will be hunted down by Onyashiro-sama. And it's finally gotten to me. That's the town you lived in before you moved here, right? Isn't that right, Ryugu-san? I didn't want to move because of Mom and Dad's circumstances, we had to. But Onyashiro-sama wouldn't allow it. Ryugu-san must have lots of friends in Hinamizawa. Even now, you must be missing them dearly, don't you think? I want to go back. Back to Hinamizawa. Yeah, all this while Hatchet is primed to kill. Very much so. I look forward to getting back to that. Goddamn flashbacks. No, it's not that I want to go back. I have to go back. I should have gone back much sooner. But now it's too late. Onyashiro-sama has come. Onyashiro-sama is the name of the god in Hinamizawa, isn't that right? Everyone knows. It's Hinamizawa's guardian deity. And if you ever try abandoning Hinamizawa by leaving, you'll incur its wrath. You had moved quite a while ago, didn't you? Then it was just now that this god arrived, is that what you're saying? You might not believe me, but Onyashiro-sama exists! That nurse was then asked by another nurse to do something and left the room. That was all she remembered. That it was Onyashiro-sama's doing, right? I do believe there is that kind of suspicion in Hinamizawa, that if you leave the village, then you incur Onyashiro-sama's wrath. You should be familiar with this part, Mayabata-san. I knew very well what those scorned by the village incurred. To hinder the dam construction project, they cursed the construction foreman to his death. Then the following year, Satoko's parents, supporters, and leading advocates for the dam were cursed to their death. But this was the first time I've heard of the curse incurred by leaving the village. This is my first time hearing that. I can understand outside threats being cursed by the village, but why also villagers who leave? Normally people who leave villages aren't supposed to be cursed, right? I know it's a bit strange to say it, but I could see it as a rule that the people who come in are the ones who would be cursed. Far from Jupiter, far from his thunder. Curses weren't something that chase after people that leave, were they? Oshi-san pondered for a bit, over on the other end of the receiver, then began speaking. Well, I told you of long ago when Hinamizawa was called Oniga Fuji, didn't I? I recalled hearing that. Long ago, Hinamizawa was feared and respected as the village of demons. The villagers at the foot of the mountains worshipped the demons, so Onigafuchi was hallowed ground that you could not enter. It came to be said that if you entered carelessly, you were cursed by Onyashiro-sama. Those who set foot in Onigafuchi, in other words Hinamizawa, would be cursed. I can understand that. I know that, but for leaving to also be no good, that's... Also, the demons, you see. They were being strictly watched by Onyashiro-sama, so they would not enter into our world. In other words, Onyashiro-sama probably restricted interaction between Onigafuchi and the rest of the world. I see. I finally understood what sort of thing Onyashiro-sama was. So basically, Onyashiro is more like a warden than a protective deity, I guess. Trying to keep this place isolated from the rest of the world. I guess that's how it would seem. I'm sorry, I don't know very much myself. This is mostly what was passed to me from my mother. I could understand it a bit better if it was like that. Those who came to Hinamizawa would be cursed. Those who tried to leave would also be cursed. So because Rena originally lived in Hinamizawa and moved away, she fulfilled the requirements for being cursed. So that means because Rena moved away against its wishes, she was cursed by Onyashiro-sama? Is that what it adds up to? In short, that seems to be what the point is, yes. As a matter of fact, soon afterwards, they did move back to Hinamizawa after all. Those who abandoned Hinamizawa and left were cursed, but then, why only Rena? Shouldn't Rena's parents also have been guilty of the same transgression by moving away, having been cursed? Also, in this day and age in Japan, shouldn't there be a lot of people coming and going? If every single one of them was cursed, that'd be insane. But in reality, it wasn't that big of a deal at all. At most, there would be one person dying and one person disappearing on the day of Wataganashi. I don't like saying at most, though. Well, anyways, there's a lot I still don't know. Even if it was Onyashiro-sama's curse, it doesn't explain Rena beating her classmates with a metal bat, or why the victims wouldn't press charges. You don't think the victims were cowering because they believed that a terrible curse had befallen them, do you? Maybe. If you even think about this town, cursed, read about it, cursed, touch the dirt that blow around the village. You guessed it, cursed! You get a curse, and you get a curse! Look under your seat, there's a curse! Of course I didn't want to believe it. But more importantly, I just realized something else. That it's nearly the end of the stream. I'm gonna have to do one more Higurashi stream. There was another bizarre connection that Rena made between Onyashiro-sama's curse and metal bats. Satoshi fell victim to Onyashiro-sama's curse and went missing. I had recently learned that Satoshi had also become infuriated with the metal bat right before he disappeared, just like me. Infatuated, not infuriated. And then Rena as well. She was affected by Onyashiro-sama's curse. She confessed that much to the doctor. And the weapon, which she had used at the time of the horrendous act, was, again, a metal bat. So I think I'll leave it there, if that's the case. There's still a little bit left, but I think we'll be okay. There's definitely not too much left. So we'll do it next time! But it's very exciting. It's very good. The tenseness of this is very fun. And voicing crazy people is also genuinely very fun. I had a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for coming! Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you anyone who lurked, and thank you anyone who watches the VOD. Hi, future people. Words. If you have not already, I would highly appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. I will be back on Sunday, or at least New Luck / Witch Briny will be back on Sunday with some more Frankensteins. If you just enjoyed sitting and listening to me read, then come back on Sunday. That's what we're doing. Other than that, thank you everyone for coming. If you would like to support me in some ways, there are many links in the description for you to do so. On some of them, you can buy wonderful, wonderful merch, like t-shirts and pillows and notebooks. In some of them, you can buy books I wrote myself. And in others, you can subscribe to my Patreon, where you can get an extra stream a month and short stories every month. Yay! Click all of them. Click everything in the description, please. Everything. Everything. Once, twice, 3 times. Do it. I guess an hour or so, yeah, would be best. Yeah, it's best not to rush. I rushed yesterday for Bioshock, and I'm not interested in doing that again. You got a whole extra hour of me yesterday. And you're even getting an extra 10 minutes now, so you're getting so spoiled this week. All of you, spoiled. But that is it for me. I had so much fun. I hope you had so much fun. This has been Brand New Red Smith live from the Forbidden Library. Goodbye.